Okay, so remember how we talked about text neck being this massive global epidemic? Well, I've been diving deep into the medical research, and honestly, I wish I hadn't, because what I found out about what this is actually doing to our bodies is genuinely terrifying. I'm talking about studies that show our phones are literally changing the structure of our spines. Research that proves we're creating headaches that doctors can't even properly diagnose, and data that shows we're basically aging our necks by decades in just a few years. So grab your coffee, maybe put your phone down for a minute, and let's talk about what's really happening inside our bodies when we text. So here's where it gets really scientific, and honestly, really scary. There's this landmark study that measured exactly how much pressure we're putting on our necks when we look down at our phones. When your head is in a neutral position, your neck supports about 10 to 12 pounds, basically the weight of your head. But here's the kicker: when you tilt your head forward just 15 degrees to look at your phone, that force jumps to 27 pounds. At 30 degrees, it's 40 pounds. At 45 degrees, we're talking about 49 pounds of pressure. And at 60 degrees, which is how most of us actually hold our phones, your neck is supporting 60 pounds of force. 60 pounds, you guys. That's like having an 8-year-old child sitting on your neck for hours every day. The cervical spine seems to be more vulnerable than the lumbar spine, and we're basically torturing the most delicate part of our backbone. But here's what the research shows happens next. And this is where it gets really concerning. Text neck pain is now a worldwide public health problem. And it's not just about a sore neck. The muscle mayhem. Your neck muscles are literally working overtime. Studies show that medical students who did cervical spine exercises saw their paracervical muscle endurance improve by 84% to 105%, which tells us how weak and overworked these muscles had become in the first place. The postural cascade. Text neck syndrome is a common overuse syndrome caused by repetitive forward neck flexion. But it doesn't stop there. Your body starts compensating. Your shoulders round forward, your upper back hunches, and your entire spinal alignment shifts. It's like pulling one domino that topples the entire chain. The nerve nightmare. Prolonged compression of the nerves in the neck can lead to conditions like radiculopathy, a pinched nerve which can cause pain, tingling, or numbness in the arms and hands. So now we're not just talking about neck pain, we're talking about your hands going numb while you're trying to work. Okay, but here's probably the most mind-blowing part of all this research. You know those headaches you've been getting? The ones that feel like they're coming from nowhere? They might actually be coming from your neck. A cervicogenic headache is thought to be referred pain, arising from irritation caused by cervical structures innervated by spinal nerves, C1, C2, and C3. Basically, when your neck is messed up, it sends pain signals to your head. And get this, these headaches can affect the occipital, temporal, frontal, periorbital, and parietal regions. That's basically your entire head, friends. It's not uncommon for patients to feel a shock-like pain, superimposed over the constant pain. So if you've been dealing with mystery, headaches that your doctor can't quite figure out, and you're spending hours a day looking down at your phone, well, now you know where to look. But here's what really broke my heart when I was reading these studies. Very recent data show that new technologies are inducing a shift in the prevalence of this relevant issue, from adulthood to all of the pediatric ages. Think about this because children's head-body ratio is larger than adults. They may be more affected by text neck syndrome. So not only are kids getting smartphones younger and younger, but their little bodies are even more vulnerable to this damage. We're literally watching the first generation of kids grow up with smartphones, develop spinal problems that we used to only see in elderly people. The precocious and inappropriate use of personal computers is changing how children's spines develop. So what does all this mean for our future? The research is still catching up. But what we do know is concerning. Studies show that physiotherapeutic interventions can provide significant benefits, including pain reduction, posture correction, and improved range of motion in the cervical spine. But that's assuming we catch it early and actually do something about it. The scary part? There is no scientific evidence linking text neck with neck pain, regardless of some conflicting studies. But the consensus is clear. Use of many new technological devices involves an unnatural neck position, and this implies an association with neck pain. We're essentially conducting a massive, uncontrolled experiment on human spines. And the early results? Not great, you guys. Not great at all. Look, I'm not trying to scare you into throwing your phone in the trash, but I think we need to be honest about what's happening here. The research is clear. Our phones are changing our bodies in ways we're only just beginning to understand. The aim of this report is to provide a brief review of the predisposing factors for text neck syndrome, along with diagnostic and therapeutic approaches. And the good news is that researchers are taking this seriously. But here's the thing. We can't wait for the perfect solution. We need to start protecting our bodies now, while we still can reverse some of this damage. So that's the science behind what text neck is doing to our bodies. It's not just a little soreness. We're talking about compressed nerves, chronic headaches, muscle dysfunction, and spinal changes that could affect us for decades. The good news? Our bodies are incredibly adaptable. And in my next video, I'm going to share the morning routines and foods that can actually help fight back against text neck. Because now that we know what we're dealing with, we can start doing something about it. Until then, maybe just try to be a little more conscious of how you're holding your phone. Your future self will thank you. Don't forget to like this video if it opened your eyes to what's really happening, and subscribe, because we're going to tackle how to fix this next. Drop a comment below if you recognize any of these symptoms in yourself. I have a feeling we're all in this together.